not an option. This is what we have to do.
And we're doing it.
We're doing it. I think that the industry is really growing a lot. It's becoming a lot more mainstream and understood, a lot more investable, a lot of capital flowing in, a lot of people understanding the positives of it in the way that renewable energy is just so powerful a force in so many different ways.
It's definitely becoming way more in the mainstream in terms of capital providers and acceptance of technologies. All the technologies have been tried and true now for a long time, and capital's coming in from in huge amounts.
And I think the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, helped that, made major headlines across the country. So people heard solar, so many ways.
Yeah.
Now that, plus the ESG reporting requirements in there too. So a lot of the customers, seeing more and more customers now, commercial scale type, that are expressing interest, or those that didn't pull the trigger when they looked 6, 8, 10 years ago, or they're ready now.
Geez, if we could meet some of the goals that people are throwing out there for, 100% renewables by 2030, is that for real?
Yeah. 7 years.
I'd be really surprised, but, the pace is accelerating. Who knows? Maybe we could get there. We're certainly doing everything we can to help.
Mm-hmm. I think that we're just going to see so much more in the industry, so many more players, so many more technologies, whereas solar and wind maybe are becoming very much more streamlined, and even storage is starting to be much more understood and part of most projects. There's all this host of new technologies that are now going to be coming into the space and coming into their own, and they all have a part to play. All these things have a part to play in the clean energy transition. So I think in the next 15 years, we have so many things to see.
I think in 15 years, we'll see the mass deployment of storage, and then the software and automation of all things electric that'll really pair so well with solar that will reduce the dependency on the grid and the hurdles that come with it. Potentially the need for it. But
dream big, Nick. Dream big.
Microwave transmission.
That's when people will really be able to control their energy use. Right now, most parties, people in their homes and then in their businesses, they just have to. It's not when they can or how they can. They just have to. They have to do what they do to live or to run their businesses. And if they had more control over that, with the amount of real estate on the roof and the higher power density of solar panels coming,
I think we're going to see a lot more on the EV side, interacting with the grid, virtual power plants and so on like that. Solar charging vehicles charging the grid. I think we'll see a lot more of that. The increase in interest rates has been a really destabilizing, or at least temporarily so, impact. The cost of capital is going up. It's a struggle to keep PPA rates where they are when cost of capital is going up so much. But there's still lots of people willing to lend. Lots of people willing to lend, and lots of investors still in the market, of course. There does seem to be a trend for investors wanting increasing returns because they can do better elsewhere with the higher rates. So it's definitely putting pressure on the market.
Agreed. And there's a time pressure there too. It wasn't so much the rates of where they're at, which are higher than they've been in the last several years, but also the fact of how quickly they went up to get here. So projects that we contract a year, 18 months ago to get fully developed and built, and we're we hold that rate. Well, our cost of capital has increased and makes those projects tighter. And for a lot of other companies, those projects aren't happening. So
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that we've still prided ourselves on when that solar coaster starts going and we start seeing market conditions that are not favorable to the industry. Where is it that we do have something that we can rely on, and where is it that we do have things that we know? I think that we are really seeing that there's projects that are smaller, that can be done, and it's easier to get financing, in some ways for those are investments, but they tend to be a drag on transaction costs. And so I think that it's with the IRA as well. I think that we're going to start to see more opportunities in smaller C&I projects. I hope the distributed nature of solar being that's something that that's its power force, and when it's difficult out in that market for the solar, you see that growth about where it's really valuable in the distributed space.
despite what's going on, and having done this for 15 years, there is no time like the present. If there's a coupon to be used, clip it, use it now, because the market is strong. We've got a 30% federal tax credit. We've got great depreciation benefits that are declining.
Yeah, and from an investor's standpoint, I mean, our investors invest, our customers don't have to.
Correct.
But it's a tremendously good investment, stable return for a period of 30 years or more, and great tax credits right now with the IRA, so no reason not to.
I joke, as sure as the sun will rise.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's still, solar is still the same stable, long-term, proven investment that it was before. And I think people are still, especially in high interest rates environments, are still interested in certainty in their investments and knowing that you have something that will be contracted. We know that interest rates or utility rates go up, and utility rates will continue to go up, and solar will continue to not go up. The economics will always make sense.
And here we talk about the business of business and like the nitty gritty of it, but the other thing is that this is something we have to do as a society. This is not, it shouldn't really be a choice or something to be underestimated. We've got to go this direction.
Yeah, it's not. Failure is not an option.
Failure's not
here.
an option. Not for kids and grandkids.
But also, as we see the industry shifting, because it's been 15 years in the making, we see generations now that don't see it as an option. This is not a plan A or plan B. This is a renewable energy future, because this is how this generation's grown up, and they're demanding more from companies. They're demanding that people do more. And we're here.
And ready.
Solar is energy.
There you go. Solar is energy.